Greetings, scholars and parents. Welcome again to another video lesson demonstration. Today, we're going to be learning and revisiting how to divide numbers. We're going to go back over division. We did it once before. We're going to go back over and do it again. Today, we're going to work on dividing three-digit dividends by a one-digit divisor. I'm going to show you two methods. I'm going to show you the long division steps, and I'm also going to show you the method of using place value in a rectangular array, similar to what we did when we multiplied with the array, but this time we're going to be doing division. So I'm going to show you two problems showing you two methods. One method is standard long division method, and the second method is using a rectangular array. So let's get started. So here for all of you, before we get started, I simply just put in place 4 key vocabulary words that was going to help you navigate your process through division. You got the dividend. The dividend is the number inside of the division house. It is the number inside the division house. So if I draw a division house, the dividend is going to go here. Yes, this is going to be our dividend. It goes inside of our house, and it's also the number that's going to be separated into groups. It's going to be the number that is separated into groups. The number that goes on the outside is called the divisor. And this is simply review. Some of you know this, mostly all of you know this already. So this is just a review. The divisor goes outside of our division house. The divisor is going to tell you how many equal groups we're going to be separating our dividend into. Because when we're dividing, we're putting every single thing in an equal group. And lastly, the quotient. The quotient is going to go on the top of our division house. And the quotient is the answer to a division problem. And lastly, we have a remainder. The remainder is going to be what's left over. After we carry out all of our steps, that's going to be what we do, and that's going to be what we have left over. So again, we have our dividend, our divisor, our quotient, and the remainder. So let's get started. I'm going to clear my screen so we can get started on our problems. So remember, I'm going to show you two methods using two different examples of how to solve the division equation. So the first equation we're going to look at is, I'm going to do the long division process first, is 827 divided by 6. And I'm going to make this 2 look more like a 2. So y'all can clearly see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm going to do my long division process first. So this is my long division method. Long division method. And remember, I'm going to shorthand this, but you all know the steps that we have. The first step is we're going to divide. Yes, step 1 is to divide. And before we even get into the actual physical part, I'm just going to list out my steps. I'm going to divide. Then my next step is to multiply. My third step is subtract. And my fourth step My fourth step, oops, sorry. Patrick's doing a little too much. My fourth step is to bring over. That's going to be my fourth step, to bring over. Bring over. And you all know the song, divide, put it on the top, multiply on the top, subtract, bring down, repeat. Yes, that's what you all know. My repeating step is going to be right here. I'm going to put slash repeat right here. Bring over and repeat. Actually, I'm gonna make that step 5. I'm gonna make that step 5 for you all, so you all don't get confused. So for my 5 steps: divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and lastly, repeat. Repeat. So let's get started. So I'm looking at my problem now. I'm looking at 6. How many times can 6 go into 8? 6 will go into 8 one time. And I know that by multiplying 1 times 6. I can't go over 8. 1 times 6. And then I divide. Now I multiplied. Now I'm about to subtract. 8 minus 6 equals 2. Yes. Now the next step, I'm going to bring down with my arrow. Oops. Don't know why I put a 4. My next down I'm going to bring down is my 2. So now I have 22. Now I'm going to go to step 5 and I'm going to repeat. So now I'm going to divide. How many times can 6 go into 22 without going over? 3. 6 times 3, I'm multiplying. Step 2 is 18. My next step is to subtract. 22 minus 18 is 4. I can cross this 2 out, make this a 1, make this a 12. 12 minus 8 equals 4. Yes. So now I'll have to bring down my 7. And now I'm step 5. I'll go back and repeat. How many times can 6 go into 47 without going over? That is 7. 7 times, because I know that 7 times 6 equals 42. And if it helps you also, go ahead and list out the different factors or the multiples of 6 too. I'm not doing that because I mentally know my multiplication facts. But if you still are remembering your multiplication facts, go ahead and write them down. That will also help you. 7 times 6 equals 42. My next step, step 3, is to subtract. 47 minus 42 equals 5. I have nothing left to bring down, so I cannot go to step 4, and I cannot repeat. So 5 is my remainder. In order to be a remainder, yes, it's going to be what's left, but also the remainder is always going to be smaller or less than our divisor. So 5 is less than 6, so I have a remainder of 5. So my answer is 137 with a remainder 5. And I'm going to make sure I box my answer. If you wanted to check this to make sure this is right, you can. You just multiply 137 times 6 And I will do this. So 6 times 7 is 42. I put my 2 down. I carry my 4. 6 times 3 equals 18 plus 4, which equals 22. Put my 2 down, carry my 2. 6 times 1 equals 6 plus 2 equals 8. So I got 822. But now I have to add my remainder. If I add my remainder, I want to put in my zeros for placeholders. 2 plus 5 equals 7. 2 plus 0 equals 2. 8 plus 0 equals 8. My answer is 827, which is the same as my dividend. So that is the long division method. That is the long division method. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the same problem, but I'm going to do another method. I'm going to do the second method, which is making a rectangular array. So give me 1 second. Let me clear off. I'm going to keep my long division method up here because it's following the same steps. So I'm going to clear everything else from around it. Hopefully I don't get rid of anything I want to keep. Oh no. Yep, it's gone. It's fine. We'll just write it over. So here we go. My next, again, my next method is going to be using the rectangular array, keeping in mind of place value. Keep in mind of place value. So I'm going to go back and rewrite my equation. 827 divided by 6. And this time, I'm going to make a rectangular array. Make a big box, just like we did with multiplication. And I'm going to make 3 individual boxes inside it. I'm going to put my dividend on the side right here. And let me write this at the top. This is called the rectangular array method. That's what I'm going to call it. There's probably another name for it, but I'm going to call it the rectangular array division method. And I'm sure Ms. Holmes probably taught you all this as well. So this is basically just a review. Again, I'm going to list my steps. My first step is to divide. My second step is to multiply. Multiply. My third step is to subtract. My fourth step, instead of bring down, is going to be carry over. It's going to be carry over. And my fifth step, I'm going to carry over. And it's just going to be 4. Yeah, just carry over. My fifth step is essentially to repeat. So I will keep that, but essentially it's just those 4 steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, and carry over. And then we're going to repeat each go around. So when I'm doing the rectangular array method, I'm going to be critically thinking about place value. I'm going to be really thinking about place value. So I'm going to label my different number categories in colors. I'm going to use red for my hundreds, blue for my tens, and green for my ones. So here we go. So first I'm going to start, I'm going to write my number inside here. I'll write my number inside here, and I'm going to write it in red. 827. 27. So now I'm going to think about dividing. How many times can 6 go into 8? One time. It can go in it one time because I know that 6 times 1 equals 6. 6 times 2 equals 12, and 12 is way too big. So we're only going to go one time. So I'm going to write my 1 at the top. And I know 6, and I'm going to multiply. 6 times 1 times 6 equals 6. Equals 6. Now I'm going to put my zeros as a placeholder on top. And now it is very critical, very, very important that you make sure that you're lining these numbers up. Keeping these numbers in line is going to help you really see the transition of place value, but it's also going to help you keep your place. So I'm going to add my 2 zeros, and now I'm going to subtract. Step 3. So I'm going to start with my ones or my units. 7 minus 0 equals 7. 2 minus 0 equals 2. And 8 minus 6 equals 2. So now my step 4 is carry over to the next box. I'm carrying over to the next box. And now I'm going to repeat. So now I'm going to write my new number, which is 227 at the top. So now I'm going to repeat my steps. How many times can 6 go into 2? None. But how many times can 6 go into 22? It can go into 22 3 times because 6 times 3 equals 18. And that is the closest to 22 without going over. So I'm going to write on the top above. Now I'm moving into my next place value. I'm in my tens place value now because 2 is in my tens place. So I'm going to make sure that I write my 3 above my tens place. Yes, 3 times 8, I'm sorry, 3 times 6 is 18. I'm going to put in my 0 as a placeholder. Remember to keep that 0 lined up. I'm going to subtract, starting with my units. 7 minus 0 equals 7. 22 minus 18 equals 4. And I know that is 4 because if I cross out my 2, make this a 1, I make this a 12. 12 minus 8 equals 4. So my next step is to carry over. And I'm going to write my new number at the top, which is 47. And now I'm going to repeat. I'm starting with division by step 1. How many times can 6 go into 4? It cannot. But how many times can 6 go into 47? Let's see. 7. Because I know that 7 times 6 is 42. So I'm going to write 42 down. I make sure I subtract. Start with my units. 7 minus 2 equals 5. 4 minus 4 equals 0. Now I'm done. I have no other boxes to go to. I'm done with all of my place value. So this 5 must be my remainder. And it is smaller. I'm going to write that right here. It is smaller than my divisor. It is smaller than my divisor, which makes it eligible to be a remainder. So I'm going to write right here. I'm going to make my remainder red. Not red. Sorry, I'm going to make my remainder in purple. With the remainder of 5. And notice that this number at the top is written in expanded form. It's written in expanded form. So we need to make this number in standard form. So we just take 1. Oops, let me erase this. We're gonna just write our number out. So what number represents my hundreds? I have 100. I have 100. How many tens do I have? I have 3. How many ones do I have? 7. And what's my remainder? 5. So my answer is 137, remainder 5. And that is how you do the rectangular array division method right here. Some people call it the area model, rectangular array division method. It is the same thing. I'm thinking about my place value and how I'm going to transition all of it over every single time. Yes. So that's 2 ways. So now I'm going to show you one more, using one more problem or equation, how to do um, these separate methods. So give me 1 second to clear my screen. Or I'm just going to try this time to really just erase this box. There we go. Try to do the best I can for all of you. Okay. There we go. So now I'm going to do another problem. And this time I'm going to go back to my long division model or my long division method. And the problem we're going to do is 509 509 divided by 9. Doing long division first. What do we do first? We put it on the top. And how do we put on the top? We have to find how many times can our divisor go into our dividend? So how many times can 9 go into 5? It cannot. But 9 can go into 50 how many times? 5. And now we're going to multiply. We put it on the top. Now we're going to multiply on the top. 5 times 9 equals 45. And now we just subtract 50 minus 45 is 5. So we subtract, we did number 3, step 3. Now we're going to subtract, bring down or carry over, which would be 9. And now we're gonna repeat. So let's repeat. 59, how many times can 9 go into 59 without going over? 6. Because 6 times 9 equals 54. We're gonna subtract, step 3. 59 minus 54 is 5. We have nothing left to bring down or to carry over, so we know we must be done. 5 is smaller than 9, so it means 5 is eligible to be a remainder. And there you go. Our answer to this problem is 56, with the remainder 5. And again, if I wanted to check to see if this is right, I can multiply my quotient by my divisor. And I will do, since I did this way the last time, I will show you using the rectangular array multiplication steps. So I have 50, and I have 6, and I have my 9. I know that 5 times 9 equals 45. Bring down my 0. I know that 6 times 9 equals 54. So I'm going to add those two together. And I'm just doing this so we can check to see if our answer would be the same. So if I add these two together, I have 0 plus 4 equals 4. 5 plus 5 equals 10. I put my 0 down, I carry my 1. And 4 plus 1 equals 5. So I know I got 504. But now remember, I have to go back and add in my remainder. If I add my remainder of 5, 4 plus 5 equals 9, 0, 5. I get my same answer as my dividend. So you know the answer is 56 with a remainder of 5. Yes? So now I'm going to clear this out so I can show you using the rectangular array model or the area model. Give me 1 second to clear all of this off. Almost done. I wish I can make this eraser much bigger. Simply just cannot. There we go. So now I'm going to make my text box, and this is going to be the rectangular array division method, or some people call it the area model. So here we go. Again, my equation is 509 divided by 9. So I'm going to set this up. Remember, I'm going to make me a rectangular array. Make sure when you're making your rectangular array, you make it big enough so that you can write in. And you're going to section it off. You're going to section it off by the number of digits inside of your dividend. So I have 3. So I'm going to make 3 boxes. Yes. And now on the outside, I'm going to make my divisor, which is 9. But on the inside is where I'm going to write my dividend. And I'm going to remember I'm basing this off of place value. So 509. And my hundreds are in red, my tens are in blue, and my ones or units are in green. So I know that I'm going to do step 1, which is to divide. How many times can 9 go into 5? None, but it can go into 50. How many? 5. You got it. 5. 5 times 9, step 2, is 45. And I'm going to subtract. Oh, remember to fill in your 0. Remember to fill in your 0. And keep your numbers evenly lined up if you're using this method. So I'm going to subtract 9 minus 0 equals 9. Can I take away 5 from 0? No, so I have to borrow. I'm going to cross my 5 out, make this a 4, make this a 10. 10 minus 5 equals 5. And then now I just subtract, and now I'm going to carry over, and I'm going to repeat, switching to my tens. So I'm going to put my new number in here, which is 59. Now I'm going to redo my steps. How many times can 9 go into 5? It can't, but it can go into 59 how many times? 6, you got it. 6 times 9 equals 54. Now I'm going to subtract. Step 3 is to subtract. 9 minus 5 equals, 9 minus 4 equals 5. 5 minus 5 equals 0. I have no other numbers to go. I have no other numbers to go. So this 5, it is smaller than my divisor. So that lets me know that 5 is going to be my remainder. And so this number right now is written in expanded form, and we want to get this into standard form. So if I write this the number in standard form, how many tens do I have? I have 50. And how many units do I now have? 6 plus my remainder, which is 5. And there we go. That is exactly how you do the rectangular array division method, or some people call it the area model. So there you all have it. I gave you two examples using two different methods. I used the long division method, and I also used the rectangular array area model method. Either way works. Do the method that works best for you. Remember, when you're doing your homework, show all of your work. Show me these steps. Show me that you are able to carry over thinking about the place value, or if you can mentally do your multiplication steps in your head, show me how you are switching over from one place value to the next by showing your work. Remember, again, you can use any method on your homework that you have. Also, I did not include this, but if you are familiar with the DISC strategy or the DISC method, go ahead and try it and do it. I didn't simply show it, but if you know it and you remember it, then go ahead and also do it that way. Challenge your mind to give you different ways to solve the same problem. If you need my help, remember I'm always available for you all to help me. This homework assignment is due back on or by Wednesday. If it's not in by Wednesday, remember everything for the whole week is due the following Monday. So reach out to me if you need any help. Have a good day. Stay safe. See you.